natively to retrieve a collection of contacts by searching for an email using flows. You would first ask the user to enter the email, and then they would click next, and then you would use a get element to retrieve these contacts or this contact that has that email. What if you want to just get it right away without having to click next? This is the expected behavior. So if we put an email here like this, then we need the results to show up like this. I'm displaying email, I'm searching by email, I'm displaying contacts by email only, which will result in only one. But you can adjust this to search for first name, or if the first name contains this value, or if the last name contains this value. You can manipulate this. I'm just trying to build a very simple use case to display and show you how to do this. So in order to do this, the first thing you need to, this is not native, it's not out of the box yet. I know it's on the roadmap to have this behavior. Right now, you can do it using this application or extension from Salesforce Labs by Joshua. It's called Data Fetcher. So you're going to need to install Data Fetcher in a sandbox or in a production environment, wherever you need it. And after you have that data fetcher, you will have the ability to perform a SOQL query, which is the same thing as a get element, right away on the same screen, whenever certain conditions are met, or whenever it is visible on the screen. So I'll show you how to do that. In this simple use case, we are asking the user to write down the email. And after writing the email, then we need the result to show up down here, like we just looked at. The way this works now is back here in the flow, I created a screen. In this screen, I have the email input. And then I have, that's the data fetcher. After you install it, then you're going to find this component, data fetcher. You add this component in here, give it some name. Select the object that we will query. In our case, we query the contacts. And then I'm not doing anything in here. You can leave this as default. And then the SOQL query string. This is where we write the SOQL. And the SOQL might sound intimidating, but it's fairly straightforward. And you can find the cheat sheet on how to do this. It follows a very specific format. Select the number of fields, like this list of fields. I'll show you. Select this list of fields from this, from the name of the object, and then where, that's the list of conditions that you write after. So let me open this. The way we write it in flows, we have to use a formula to do that. Let me cancel this to open the formula. That's the query, and show it to you. So typically, SOQL query follows this format. Select, and the standard, the naming convention is to just capitalize these keywords. Select now list of fields. You just separate them by comma, and then from, and then object name, and then where clause, if you need a where clause, and then the list of conditions, list of conditions. I'm capitalizing everything. And the conditions, any condition would be in this format, like field API name equals, and then the value. And that value, if it is string literal, then you're gonna need to put it in between quotes like this. So I have already written this down, but because a formula, in a formula, in order to tell the formula that this is a text, then you have to surround it in quotation marks. And a quotation mark can be a double quotation mark like this, or it can be a single quotation mark like this. Both of them will work. And because I know that I need to put the if we were to write this without a formula, like outside the formula, it's gonna look something like this. It's gonna look something like this. Let's put the email here. The email, and okay. So this is the SOQL query. So we need this formula to return this, exact thing. And to do this, you're gonna have to let the formula know which part of this line is text and which one is not. We know that this email, we return it from the email input that the user enters. So that is a resource. So that would be the email that the user has entered. And the moment you do that, then this needs to be encapsulated into single quotes. The SOQL query is expecting this email to be encapsulated in single quotes. So it shouldn't be like this. It should be like this, so that the email with the single quotes are returned, not just the email without the single quotes. It wouldn't understand that this email is a text. We know it's a text, but the system needs to know that it is a text by seeing the single quotes. So SOQL query is expecting single quotes. The formula is expecting double quotes. That's why we have to build it in this format. You might experiment with this a little bit to see if you can maybe just like do it like this without having to do the concatenation with the plus symbol. But that's this is the one that I set up. The formula accepts this. This part is one string, and then I'm concatenating a single quote. So this is a single quote in between two double quotes. So this is like double quote and then a single quote and then a double quote, but I'm removing the spaces. So this is what that is. And then concatenating the email value and then concatenating the ending single quote. That is our SOQL query. And then we're providing that SOQL query to the query string input parameter. And that's pretty much everything we need. And then we have a data table. And in the data table, it takes the input of the output of the data fetcher. The data fetcher uses the SOQL query that we just wrote down to retrieve a list of records, and then it will always return a list of records. So if you access the data fetcher, you're gonna see retrieved records, the collection of retrieved records. And because we already specified that this is returning a contact in this input parameter, then the data table understands that this collection here, it says retrieved records of which object. It does understand this because it received that this object is contact from the data fetcher. That's why these columns will show up. The columns of the contact object will show up in here. You can set the columns as well. I added component visibility so that this data table would show up only when there is a value. The data fetcher is going to run for the first time on this screen the moment it appears. So you can add component visibility to make it appear only after the user enters a value in the email, so that it doesn't run right away. But because it is reactive anyway, so it doesn't matter. I'm just keeping it displayed all the time. When we run it, it actually doesn't show anything. It's just hidden on the screen, but it's going to react to whatever value that we enter in here. The last thing here is just I'm adding a display text to show you the query string from the data fetch, just what it looks like, to see that formula that we wrote down. What is the result? What does the result look like? Now let me display this. I just create this for a variable to be able to show and hide the formula string, the SOQL string. Let's see what that looks like. So this is the SOQL string. Select ID, first name, last name, email from the object contact, where email equals nothing because there is nothing in here. Once you start typing, you would notice that the data table showed up, and then the SOQL query updated like this. So it is reactive. Like the more you write down, it keeps performing another query every time you type something down. It's going to perform another query and retrieve stuff from the database. Because I made it equals and not contains, SOQL doesn't have contains, it uses an operator like. So you can learn how to do that. It's fairly straightforward as well, but for the simplicity, I'm just going to use the full email. Once you do that, then it's going to show Ashley James. If I get another email, then that's Arthur Song. So you see it is being reactive, it is performing a query, it is returning results. That's pretty much it.